Hey guys, what's up? I am so excited to be back tonight with a follow-up, a chapter 2, a next page to the video that I posted yesterday or the day before, whatever, about my opinion on whether or not biracial people are automatically black. And I loved it because it generated exactly what I had intended, which was a discussion in which I was going to see people who were agreeing with me, disagreeing with me, agreeing-disagreeing with me. And I love that because that serves as a learning experience with me, which is ultimately why I am here for. And I must absolutely give a special shout out to a user by the name of Vicky V, because let me tell you, we had such a great exchange in the comment section, and honestly, this video exists this promptly because of you, because I love the way that you were challenging me, and you triggered an acceleration in my thought process that my videos demand from me. So I really appreciate you. And two quick side notes. If you hear an odd noise in the background, it's raining. Second, this is my third take on this video because at the end of my second take, an alarm went off on a car, and I don't want that type of noise in the video. And then in my first take, my freaking cat was having a concert, so I was interrupted. And anyways, so this shall go well. All right, so Vicky, the reason why I can tell you that I am comfortable with my heritage is because I don't curse upon my appearance, my behavior, my conduct, my way of thinking, how educated I am, or how not very educated I am. Just me as an individual, I have a lot of respect for me, and it's because I have gotten to learn about myself and why I am the way I am and what has influenced me into becoming who I am. For instance, let's go a little bit back in time to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I did have complexes, and some of them were mostly physical because when you are that age, you're pretty vulnerable to what people have to say, to their opinions, to you feel a lot of pressure. And one of my complexes was my freaking hair, because it was just unique. Not a lot of people had my hair type, and as a result, I would hear a lot, and to this day I do from time to time. Is that your hair? What do you do to it? Is it natural? Is it a wig? How can I get my hair to look like yours? And I'm like, be born with it. You know, I would get sassy because when you're confronted about it so much, you just get defensive and wary, you know? But now that I'm older, I just have fun with it. I have a lot of fun with it. So, another thing is that I don't want to say that being black automatically grants you great sportsmanship, but most of the outstanding athletes who I know are black, so I'm going to say that that is an absolute fact. Being black absolutely gives you great performance. Maybe it's scientifically true, I don't know. I haven't investigated that yet. But let's say it is. And I also watched the Get Out movie, so I'm going to use that as my influence. You know, there's some people in that movie, spoiler alert, that were going after black people so that they can get their genes, their strength, their power, etc. So, you know, just because I have that white heritage in me to where I suck at sports, it doesn't mean that I'm cursing upon it, you know? The little bit that I'm good at, I tell myself, I'm so grateful for these blessings and I will embrace them. In the same manner that I embrace my weaknesses and my strengths and whatever. You know, so like I said, do not take that seriously, guys. I'm not saying that is ultimately true. I don't know what the truth is. Maybe it's not even about being black or white that grants you good physical abilities. I said that just to create a scenario so that I can illustrate my point. All right. I wake up every morning and I head out, and I'm not thinking about I'm going to be treated this way, or I have to behave this way or sound this way. No, I go about my business and period. I have control and a choice over what I want to share, what I want to discuss, and what I don't want to share or discuss. So that's why I don't let this type of thing bother me, you know? But anyway, moving on. It's not a problem to tell where I'm from, which you suggested that I may be uncomfortable with, say, my dark side. And I gotta tell you, I'm not. And this is probably going to be the most important part of the video. In my preceding video, I mentioned a lot about my European side, you know, my French side, my Italian side, etc. But I didn't make any mention of my dark side. It almost sounds like, now that I think about it, it almost sounds like the way I was projecting myself to you guys is, oh, I identify more with my white side. Let me tell you, I did not have that in mind at all. I was just saying it because I know that's a part of me. That's part of the blood that flows through my veins. You know, that's part of the composition of it. But the reason I didn't make any mention of my black side is because I don't know about it. I don't know much about it. Nobody knows anything about it in our family, as in the most recent generations. We don't know about it. Why? Because it was stolen from us. It was taken from us. It was, in a sense, erased. It was lost in time. Because, you know, if you think about it, let's go back to those times when slavery was taking place. You get snatched from your home and you don't bring anything with you, no ID, just your language. And you don't practice it a lot anymore because you are forbidden from doing that by your landlords, or not, excuse me, not your landlords, your masters, like those who are controlling you. I'm sorry, I forgot the proper term for that. But, you know, you are forced to adapt to your new conditions. You were not even considered human back then. You were treated, you know, like you're not human. They even had this thing to where when you were allowed to vote as a black person, it took, what was it, 3 black people to count as 1 full vote or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about? It just occurred to me, so I'm sorry that I didn't have a chance to research this as I make this video, because as I spoke, that's when I had this come back to me, you know. But, you know, so it's not that I'm not acknowledging my dark side. It's not that I feel a complex about it. I don't know about it well enough to pinpoint it. Like, I don't know if my African descendants is from Kenya, Egyptian, from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't know. Cameroon. Nobody knows. So what I will do is someday I'm gonna give this genealogy stuff a try, ancestry stuff, and see if I can uncover some of that. But yeah, ask any other brother or sister out there what they know about where their ancestors are from. If anybody in the family ever talked about it. And they are probably going to tell you that they don't know. They just know that they're African American, or they have Afro heritage because it's perceivable. But they may not be able to dwell in detail because they don't know. It got lost in history. You know? The only thing that gives you a clue as to who you are and where you're from is your very blood. Your very spit, your genes, your DNA. Fortunately, that encodes a lot about us. And also, not only do I want to, in my case, be mysterious about this, I feel like if I'm mysterious about it, it enables for you guys, not just here in the channel, but outside in real life too, to give me a more unbiased treatment and conversation. Because some people, it's like as soon as I tell them where they're from, they make assumptions. Those assumptions are known as stereotypes, and it gets weary and old quickly. And while I have control over that, which is by not revealing where I'm from, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to control where my conversations take me to, or what they dwell on or go over, you know? So I think it's fun. It allows me to learn a lot. And I also get to not expose myself to something that I don't like. I don't like talking about that. I don't go in public to talk about that. When I meet someone for the first time, that's not what I want to talk about. So just leave me alone about it. If I want to tell you about where I'm from, I will tell you about where I'm from. I'm going to be like, oh, where I come from, which is da-da-da, this happens. Or this is what we do. This is what we say. This is what we sing. But until then, just be cool. Treat me like the fellow human being that I am. And whenever it becomes relevant, that's when I'll share the information, you know? But yeah, the reason I didn't mention anything about my dark side, if that's what provoked you to say that comment, Vicky, is because I don't know about it. And then finally, the last note that I had to make was I mentioned about saving lives, how me revealing this until it saves lives. I don't see why it's important. Really, that was just me being exaggerated with my reply, but it's just my way of saying that it's not important to go over this and discuss this. So just know that I am a healthy person of tremendous integrity. I mean and do no one any harm, and I'm tolerant, you know. I embrace the fact that my history is a little complicated, but I love how diverse I am, you know, just how much I am influenced by more than one culture, more than one thing, you know. It helps me think more broadly. It helps me respect people more, and it also challenges my intelligence. And let me tell you, I tried learning Italian and French, and I sucked at it. The only way I was able to dominate Spanish was because I had a very strong base at an early age. And of course, I practiced it a lot for the longest time. And at the same time, English was being taught simultaneously, so that it facilitated my ability to switch from language A to language B and vice versa without any issues, you know. But the language that I feel most comfortable with is English. The reason I have this funny accent is because I had many influences, you know? So just leave it at that, all right? All right, you guys, that concludes everything that I had to say, really. I know this video may be prolonged unnecessarily, but it's just that this is not something that I have talked about very often or dwelt on. Honestly, the only person I've had like a very deep conversation about race and stuff has been with my boyfriend. And I can honestly tell you that if it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't be discussing this either, because this is stuff that I wouldn't have thought about. So I have to thank him too for sort of opening that door for me and getting me to think about that. And also for him to share his experiences. So I enjoyed this topic a lot, despite my mystery and all that. You know, it's just cool to receive your responses, and also this serves to show how divided we are. And we shouldn't even be divided. We're from the same species, guys. Why can't we just unite and be together and happy and be like, all right, you're a human, and you know, I'm a fellow human too, so let's be cool and tight, you know? Why can't that happen? At least guaranteed, you know? Why does there have to be conflict about dominance and how one race has been more abused than the other, and one is more dominant or evil than the other, and we need reparations and affirmative action and equal rights? And you know, why can't we just be guaranteed fairness? And you know, why do we have to fight for this? The sole fact that we are human should grant you that, you know. But of course, that happens in utopia. And the reason we don't live that currently is because there's people who want power and, you know, rule the world and say that, you know, their race is the best and stuff like that. You know, to me, that's silly. Imagine all that we could be accomplishing if we just integrated without any complexes or any ill intent and whatever. I'm gonna shut up. As always, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.